Well, let's get the very latest from Gaza. Yumna El-Sayed is joining us from Gaza right now. So, Yumna, tell us more about the latest situation. Are rockets still being fired?
Rockets are still being fired very intensely from the Gaza Strip. We've also seen more and more videos and pictures come from the Palestinian fighters that have infiltrated into the Israeli towns. We've seen fighters taking over Erez crossing and pictures of Israeli soldiers there being killed. We've also seen videos of Israeli tank set on fire while Palestinian fighters around it celebrating. Other Israeli vehicles, another one. One was taken in the early hours of the morning, another one now in Gaza Strip. So two armed vehicles in Gaza taken by the Palestinian fighters. We've also recently just received a video showing, a very short video of 10 seconds showing two Israeli soldiers being captured in the hands of the Palestinian fighters. They say they have captured these two soldiers alive. The video, of course, shows the soldiers alive. The confrontations are still taking place inside those Israeli towns. Also, Palestinian fighters, have also said that they have taken over Ashkelon prison, which is after the Israeli town of Ashkelon, which is about 45 minutes away from the Erez crossing in the northern part of the Gaza Strip. So this shows how far the Palestinian fighters have infiltrated into the Israeli towns from the borders with Gaza.
Right. Let's talk about the Erez crossing, because it's in the north of the Gaza Strip. It has been under full Israeli control and presumably very high security. It's extraordinary that it's been taken, isn't it?
It's very extraordinary that this Erez crossing could be taken over by Palestinian fighters. But not just the Erez crossing, Nick, really. All the borders are set to be on very high security, very high amounts of soldiers deployed on the security fence between Gaza and Israel. It's very difficult to actually anticipate that there could be any kind of infiltration through these borders, to break these borders into the Israeli borders. I mean, there's always, whenever there is any kind of movement by the borders, even in the buffer zone, which we call in the Palestinian side itself, away about 300 meters to 100 meters away from that separating fence, there is always an attack to stop that movement, whatever kind of it. So there has been a lot of young people trying to infiltrate, unarmed civilians trying to infiltrate many times. And Israeli army just says that it has arrested them, investigated them, and sent them back, for they did not hold any kind of threat towards. They just approached that fence. So for this kind of operation to happen in this amount and this precise way is really beyond imagination. A great surprise, not just to the Israeli side, but even to the residents of Gaza.
Yumna, just give us an idea of the sense, the mood there in Gaza amongst residents there, given the events that have unfolded so rapidly today.
Well, as this operation has been launched, it started in the very early hours of this day, Saturday. Everything was already closed. All shops were already closed. They hadn't yet opened. But now areas or neighborhoods have instructed their local markets, local shops and supermarkets to open so that people can get their necessities and food food supplies quickly because of what could be happening in the next coming hours. And the Israeli response on these attacks or these rockets being launched from Gaza. Now, as for the people here in Gaza have already been living under a stifling Israeli blockade for the past 17 years. The sense is a common sense of fear and great worry because, again, we're talking about 2.3 million people living in 365 kilometers square, which means buildings adjacent to one another, homes adjacent to one another, very overcrowded refugee camps with thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in some refugee camps, which means that every airstrike or every targeting means that the entire neighborhood or the entire place surrounding that place targeted is into or subjected to a destruction as well. People here in Gaza also because...
Carry on.
Yes, Nick. Because of the borders, the Erez crossing, which only allows humanitarian cases and workers to cross into the occupied West Bank, is now totally closed, while the Rafah crossing into Egypt is also closed. It means that people here in Gaza are just not able to leave the Gaza Strip at any time. In most cases, they were not allowed. But now, as we are witnessing the beginning of a war, it makes or puts great pressure on the civilians that they have to stay in their homes and just witness this war.
Yumna, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thanks very much indeed. Yumna Al-Sayed, we can hear rockets still being fired out of Gaza across the border. Yumna, thanks very much indeed. For the time being. Excuse me. Let's cross now to Rob Reynolds, who's live for us in occupied East Jerusalem. Rob, what's happening there?
Well, it's been quiet for the last little bit here. There haven't been any more rockets in the sky that we could see, and no more sirens going off. But Israeli media is reporting that now at least 5 Israelis have been killed in the rocket barrage from Gaza. That's up from 1 earlier in the day. They say that rockets have impacted in Tel Aviv and in other cities in the southern part of Israel. This all, again, have to emphasize, coming as a total shock to Israeli citizens and to the Israeli government, and especially to Israeli intelligence, that this strike from Gaza on a scale such as this could take place without any warning, almost 50 years to the exact day of the 1973 October War that also took Israel completely by surprise and led to many, many Israeli army casualties. Again, here in Jerusalem, things appear to be calm, at least at the moment, in terms of any fighting, any rocket barrages, or any incursions, nothing like that. Here, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government and defense officials and intelligence officials are meeting, trying to establish what to do next. We have heard that the Israeli army has shelled some areas of Gaza. Again, there are, as we've been pointing out throughout the morning, apparently some Israeli soldiers taken captive by these armed incursions from Gaza. We've seen pictures of them on social media. Excuse me. They have been taken back into Gaza, so they are their status is unknown at the moment. So obviously that'll be a factor in the Israeli army's decision where and when to strike. They don't want to hurt their own people if that's avoidable in any way.
Right, and Rob, if I can just jump in there.
A full-scale response in the coming hours.
Yeah, this development of Israeli soldiers being taken prisoner really does present a different kind of dynamic to the usual scenario when these escalations happen.
Yes, it does. It's rare that Israeli soldiers are captured, and it shows, again, how extraordinary this operation is out of Gaza. The paragliders, the armed squads of men moving through the streets of Sderot, which is the city sort of closest to Gaza, the Israeli city. We see pictures of them in vehicles and on foot, moving apparently quite calmly and in a disciplined manner through the streets. I think we are hearing some sirens just now. Yes, somewhat distant. Samir, can you see any contrails in the sky?
I cannot see in the sky anymore.
No, nothing in the sky at the moment. So my comments about things being calm here were apparently premature, or at least not entirely up to date. But getting back to the idea of captives, yes, indeed, there was an Israeli soldier captured on the border with Lebanon some years ago, whose fate gripped the entire nation and led to many months and years of negotiations, finally into okay, we're seeing seems like two contrails in the sky. I'm also seeing a puff of smoke that indicates that a rocket has been intercepted. You can hear sirens in the distance. I'd also point out that many of the streets and roads and highways leading into Jerusalem and leading towards the southern part of Israel have been closed as the army has declared a state of war alert. So we don't know what's happening with this particular missile. Are we seeing another one?
Yeah.
Where is it?
See this line?
Yeah. So Jerusalem still under attack from Gaza. The missiles that have traveled this far. Yes, I can see the contrails now. To really terrify the people who are living here. And getting back to that idea of the soldier who's been taken captive, I've seen videos of several soldiers who've been taken captive today. They seem to be not severely injured. One soldier on video seemed to be either very severely injured or dead. And that's going to be something we'll hear more about. But at the moment, we're waiting for the Israeli government to announce its response and begin its response in retaliation on Gaza and perhaps elsewhere. Back to you.